Welcome to Reader's Retreat. I'm Paul, and this is an announcement for Horror Mayhem. Horror Mayhem was started a few years back by Becky and Scott Bryant, and we lost Scott. May, uh, er, er, earlier. I think it was earlier this year, or last part of last year, or something. Uh, my memory ain't that good, but he is going to be one man that's going to be missed here on BookTube. He was a great guy, and but this is about Horror Mayhem, which is the the horror event that him and his wife Becky started, and Becky is going to be joining us uh, this year. And I like to say that we're doing this out of the memory of Scott. Okay, now I got some books here. I'm going to show you that I'm going to be going through and picking out stuff. This event is mainly short stories, and I do have one book here that ain't a short story, but that will come last, and we'll talk about it. And but this is I made a little bit of notes. Decades of Dread this year. I mean, we had bingo cards on one. Some we did other stuff on others, but this year is Decade of Dread, and I just want to say this is going to be a fun event. So let's start and see what we can get into. For one, I'm going to be going into the dark fantasies, supernatural horror short stories. There they go. In this book, you'll find M.R. James, Edgar Allan Poe, H.G. Wells, Elizabeth Gaskell, and many more. I believe I was hoping that they would have the years in here. If you don't have the years in here, then I can't really use it because I need the years. Because this is a decade, about the decades. That means the 2020s, 2010s, 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, and on and on and on back. But this one here don't have the. I don't see it anyway. Let's put it that way. Okay, see if anything's here. This book came out in 2017, but it don't say when all the stories came out. But anyway, I've been thinking about that. Another one I'm thinking about is Tales from the Night Side, Simon R. Green. Now, the thing is, these are short stories, and you don't have to read the whole book. Just read the tales that you want out of each book. Yeah, it does mess up the Goodreads and Storygraph and stuff, because you really can't when you do it like that. Now, if you're going to sit here and read the whole book, then you can count it on Goodreads and Storygraph. Oh, that was dusty. Been a while since I picked this book off the shelf. This was edited by Ross E. Lockhart. It's the Book of Cthulhu. I know I said that wrong. Cthulhu. And here you get the names such as, these are inspired by the master horror teller H.P. Lovecraft. So here's the authors that you can find in here: Ross E. Lockhart, Caitlin R. Kiernan, Ramsey Campbell, Charles Strauss, Bruce Sterling, Sylvia Marino Garcia, W.H. Pugmire, Molly Taser, Michael Shea, Elizabeth Bear, T.E.D. I mean, that's how they got it. T.E.D. Klein. David Drake, Charles R. Sanders, Thomas Legale, Cage Baker, Edward Morse, Sherry Priest, John Horner Jacobs, Brian McNallen, Ann K. Schwaller, or something like that, Steve Duffy, Joe R. Lansdale, Brian Lumley, Tim Pratt, Gene Wolfe, Joseph S. Pulver Sr., John Lanigan, and Lard Barron. That's a lot of names in here. And let's see if I can come up to tell you what some of the titles are. Andromeda Among the Stars, The Tuggin, A Colder War, Unthinkable, The Curse, The Darkness, Bad Sushi. That's what's in here. Okay. Now this one here I'd read before, but it has some great stories. It's the classic tales of vampires and shapeshifters. If you like vampires and shapeshifters, this is your short story book for you. And that's what that looks like. And I love these. We got Count Magnus, Varmy the Vampire, The Horror from the Mound, The Death of Lucy, that was In the Dark of the Night. This here, The Beast Within. We got Gabriel Ernest, The Tragedy of the Forest, The Grey Wolf, The Mark of the Beast, The White Wolf of Hearts Mountain. Nameless Horror would go with Goblin Rage, The Other Side of Brett Lane, The Room in the Tower, The Hound, and Dracula's Quest. There's a lot more than that. I do love these pictures that they have in here. It's just awesome. Now, I might just pick up one of these books and reread the whole book and count that. Especially if they have decades of stories. Here's another one. This is a Complete Tales of Jules de Grandin, Volume 5. The title Black Moon, C. Barry Quinn. And here we got Suicide Chapel, which was done in Weird Tales, June 1938. The Venom Breath of Vengeance, which was done in Weird Tales, August 1938. Okay, right there's the 38s. There, so we got that. We got the 1939s, 1940s, 50s. So we can go from the 1930s all the way up to 1950s, just in this one book. If you read a story out of each year, or out of each section here, you'll get that. So this is a hot this here I might do at least one story out of each section. Then you can't think of horror that much without thinking of the master. Of course, that's what they call him. I don't. But this is Stephen King, Just After Sunset. And he has quite a few things in here. But this here would cover the 2000s. That's when this book came out. Is in the 2000s. We got Willa, The Gingerbread Girl, Harvey's Dream, Rest Stop, Stationary Bike, The Things That They Left Behind, Graduation Afternoon, The Cat from Hell, The New York Times at Special Bargain Rates, Moot, A Very Tight Place, and Sunset Notes. So this here would cover the 2000s for me. I believe it's a story in each week. Now here's a good book, and this is for anybody that loves the oldies, because this one here goes from 1852 to 1923. It's Weird Women, classic supernatural fiction by groundbreaking female writers. And these here is stories from women, and some had to use their husbands' names to get published, because back in these days it was hard for women to get published. So let's go in here, and what do we find in here? Okay, we're skipping. Oop. We got such stories and names as the old nurse's story, 1852, when that came out, and that was from Elizabeth Gaskell. The Moonstone Mass is in 1968 by Harriet Prescott Sponford. Lost in the Pyramid, or The Mummy's Curse, was done in 1869 by Louisa May Alcott. In 1869, we got What Was the Matter by Elizabeth Stout Phelps. 1878, we got The Inner House by Emma Frances Dawson. As you can see, plenty great names, plenty of great stories. If you don't have this book and you're into horror, this is a book to go and find. This is edited by Lisa Morton and Leslie S. Klinger. And I don't think you'll be disappointed if you get that in your collection. Then we go to the one and only H.P. Lovecraft Selects Classic Horror Stories. This is what H.P. Lovecraft would select, I'm guessing. And we got authors as Edgar Allan Poe, Ambrose Bierce, M.R. James, Arthur Machen, William Hope Hodgson, Guy D. Maupassant, sorry, I just ruined that name, Arthur Conan Doyle, E.F. Benson, Algernon Blackwood, and Walter D. Lamarck, and others. So this would be another great time to great book to read. We got stories like The Sandman, The Vampire, Carwin the Benequist, The Venus of the Isle, The Werewolf. I mean, some great names in here. Titles, that is. So, now here's something that the rest of them ain't doing, but I want to throw this out because I'm doing it in May. And I'm doing a read along. You can join me in the read along. We're going to do like 32 pages a day, and that way we'll be finished by the end of the month. So if anybody wants to join me, I'm going to be reading Anne Rice, The Witching Hour. This is a reread for me. And but I'm going to be doing the whole trilogy. This is for May. In June I'll do Taltus, and then in July I'll do Lasher. But this is for May. So if anybody wants to join me in Anne Rice, The Witching Hour, and you can count yourself as part of the taking part of horror mayhem, I would say. And this book was done, oh crap, in 1990. So I could count that as for the decade of the 90s. So anyway, come and join me, read along with me. We're doing 32 pages a day out of this, so it won't take up too much time. Now me, I'm a chapter reader, so I would read, if page 32 lands on in the middle of the chapter or somewhere like that, I will read till the next chapter because I can't put down a book unless I finish a chapter. So, this is my announcement for Horror Mayhem, the decade of dread. And I want to thank Scott and Becky for starting this a few years back. You guys are awesome. And Scott, you are missed wholeheartedly. I miss talking to you on Facebook and stuff like that. And Becky, keep going. It's what Scott would want. And you just have to. It doesn't get easier, honey. It doesn't get easier. It gets lighter, but not easier. But Becky and Scott is two people that I could say I loved here on BookTube. I couldn't wait to see their videos, and so I'm proud to be part of this again this year, and I'll be talking to everybody later.